Hi, my name is John Wilson, and I am watching a video by Paramount Tactical. The guy's name is Gary, and he has Gray Hughes with him. And it's a video they made about Charlie Kirk and Tyler Robinson. And I would like to play this video and show them where some things that I think they are missing. And it's my theory, and I know of nobody else on YouTube that I see anywhere is saying this. It's just what I believe. Like I said, nobody else, but I don't believe any of the other theories out there that he was shot from behind or in the back of the head, from behind the back of the head, or exploding mics, or any of all the theories out. I believe that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk, but I believe that he done it in a different way than Gary and Gray believes it. And I would like to make this video and tell them what I believe that really happened that day. I'm gonna play this video, and at times I'm gonna stop it and tell you what I think happened when they get to certain things. I'm gonna stop it and tell you what I think was going on at that time. So I'm fixing to start the video right now, and like I said, this is my theory, and this is the first video I've ever made in my life. So, I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I'm gonna make it. And I'm fixing to start it right now.
I noticed that.
Yeah,
I noticed that, and I thought it was strange as well.
yeah. Let's see. Well, what do you want me to show? Some of the. I mean, we could go over when he's on the roof if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go through what you got.
And there is a new video. I don't know. Did you guys ever see this one? This video? So this is one here. So we could take a look at this, and we actually have the time on this one. If you're, let's see, right there. So this is at 8:20. This is 8:23 in the morning. This is when his car drives by. So watch this right there. So apparently that's his vehicle driving by, and I know where this is, and it kind of doesn't fit very easily into the timeline. But then he drives by right there, and then
okay, I'm going to say right there that fits very good in the timeline with what went on that day. 8:20 and 3 in the morning, he is driving by. The next place he will be is at the campus at 8:29. But I'm going to start the video back.
Just a moment, we'll see. Now he's walking into the screen, and then it pans out, and then we can see the time again. And now it's 9:57. So 8:23 drives by, and then he's walking around at 9:57. And what's weird is, I actually found that spot. And so here's where the surveillance that we've seen already is right down on this street, heading to the building, and then he goes in this tunnel right there. But up here is where that shot is. So that means it's looking like this from that house, and that vehicle either drives this way or turns, but I'd probably just go straight. And then he walks like this, that direction. And so in relation to everything, that's kind of, just down the street is where the tree is, where he put the gun later.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Gray just said he thinks that's where he put the gun later after he shot Charlie Kirk. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right out the gate. I think that gun was already in those woods. I think he planted it there early in the morning, could have been as early as daybreak. But I think that gun's already there, and I will tell you why as we go along.
I'm still trying to work through what the hell this time frame up here means, because they say he's on campus at 8:29. So this is 8:23. The car drives by. So does he go to campus and then?
See, that's not confusing to me. He drives by at 8:23. I think the gun, he's already planted it in the woods. I think what he's doing is he's driving by at 8:23 in the morning just to see if anybody's picked up on anything and make sure there's no cops in the area or nobody's picked up and everything's quiet. He's just riding by looking on the back, because College Campus Road and then this road runs parallel with it, so he's just keeping an eye on both sides of those woods. But right now he's just checking to make sure nobody's picked up on that he's already put a gun in. Now he's going to ride by this house at 8:23 and then he's going to go to College Campus. He's going to go to the campus at 8:29. And I think he goes to the campus, and while he's at the campus he may just walk out and see if they've started putting up Charlie's tent or setting up, and whether they have or not, I don't know. But later on he comes back by this same house at 9:57, and my question is, why is he even over in this area to begin with? And I'm going to start the video again.
Then drive back over here and park, and then walk at 9:58 by the camera again. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Weird
So
stuff.
can you,
See, that's not weird to me. He's only in this area, I think, because he's going back at 8:23. He went around, like I said, to make sure everything's quiet. Now at 9:57, Gray calls it a dry run. I guess he calls it that because he don't have a gun with him at the time. He's not going to kill Charlie Kirk at this time. But I think what he's doing is walking that way, just keeping an eye and making sure everything's still quiet. Nobody's picked up on what he did earlier. And we'll start the video again.
can you zoom in, Gray, on the wooded area that he supposedly dropped the firearm?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And let me
So
show you this.
it's
too.
really a clump of trees.
Yeah, it's just a wooded area. Nothing really. It's not a woods. So right there, that's that camera, right? So that's the 360-degree camera. That is. So if you go right to here, this is what law enforcement was looking at in their video.
Okay, I'm gonna let it go forward a little more.
So that what they're doing to present the people.
See right there is he's with the height of the camera right now looking back at the Losi Center. Just so you can see that the public walkway and then the little wall he climbs over. But anyway, that would be what the camera would be looking at right there. He could easily get over that wall, and I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Is they're just panning around in the video. But this is what, if you were just looking in this direction, he came by right here on this grassy area, and then he went into a door that's right over here. And then so the door is right there, and then he comes up these stairs. And all the areas in this video, if you look up in the air that are brown, those are places that people can just hang out and stand around.
What I think they are, Gray, I actually think, like they say, it's public walkways. I think because the campus is built in a valley area with the ground terrain the way it is, they engineered this so that it would make it easy to get around the campus. And that's why they have so many public walkways. Once you get up on the public walkway, it's better than walking out with the ground terrain the way the mountains is there. But I think that's why they call it UVU. It's just sitting in a valley. And I believe that's why they have the public walkways.
So after he came up here at 12:15, he walks right over to here, and then there's even a wall there. It just didn't render on Google Earth correctly. So there's a wall there, and then he just steps over this wall, because it said it's on the north side of the wall. And then what a great little place to hide. You see how it kind of blocks both that direction? Yeah. So he sort of crouches down right here.
Yep, he comes up at 12:15. He goes over that wall at 12:17. And like Gray just said, it's a perfect place to hide.
And then from 12:17 to 12:22. And by the way, somebody sent me image yesterday where they stuffed a rifle down their pants. I couldn't even see it. I mean, it was crazy. So they go all the way. So then right there at 12:22, he runs right over to here, and then you can see down at the stage. See how you can't see, but if you slide right over there, there's an angle. Boom, and that's when he shot. And he stands up. So let's just go right in the corner, right there. And then from this position, he runs away like this, and then climbs down the backside, jumps off of here, and then he runs right like this. And all of this can be seen on the same camera. So they're just looking around, and they can see him go into the woods. You know, because look where that camera is. It's right here. So when you can look this direction, you see him kind of go in there, and that's what made them look in those woods. So.
And I want to say something to that. That's exactly, he knew there was going to be surveillance all over UVU. So when he went on the campus, he had 3 ways of going. He could either go with a face mask, gloves, go that way to where nobody could know who he was, but he knew that wouldn't work. He knew before he could ever make it to the Losi Center and get on the roof, the cops would have him. So the next way he could go is go just as he is with his cap, his sunshades, sunglasses on, and nobody would pick up on that. That's probably half the guys there like that. So he chose to go just as he was. Nobody's going to pick up on it. And if he's got a limp, they're not going to. How many people do we see walk with a limp? Nobody's going to think nothing of it. So that was his second choice. He could go that way and be seen. And he knew he would be seen. And to show you how easy it was, look how quick his mom and dad picked up on it. And if they hadn't, a friend or somebody would have picked him out, because I think he always wore his hat and his shade, sunglasses all the time, because if you look at pictures in the past with him and the accident that he had got into, you'll see there in all the pictures that he had a hat and sunglasses on. So that's just the way he went around. He knew that the surveillance was going to pick him up, and he knew that they were going to find out who he was. So he would have been a fool to go up and shoot Charlie Kirk, knowing that later on, after the shooting, that somebody was going to pick him out. So now I'm going to tell you the third way in a minute, the way he done it.
And as far as him concealing the firearm, one of the things that you pointed out in your video is, he wasn't stuffing the firearm down his leg. It was basically down his back, to where we had some of the barrel coming down. But the majority of the rifle was concealed in clothing and being held in place by the backpack.
Right. I see. Yes, exactly. I think the barrel is sort of right by his knee joint, just slightly down his thigh, I think, because that's why he can't swing his right leg forward when he's walking, because it's like a splint, right? So it goes up his back, and I think the backpack was actually worn because it would protrude. If that gun was up his back and he's swinging his leg, it's going to want a tendency to push out his back a little bit, a little bit, I guess. And so you'd think you just put the backpack to kind of block that look. I think it would look really suspicious if he was walking without the backpack. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I guess we could go over.
Here's what I think. I don't even think he had a gun down his pants. I don't even think he had a gun at all down his pants. He may have put something on the front side of his leg, on the thigh area, coming up on him to make him walk with somewhat of a limp. But I don't even think he had a gun, and I'll show you in a little bit. Like I said, I think the 30-06 was already in the woods. I think he had a gun, but it wasn't down his clothes.
Why don't we watch? Let's just watch one of these ones where this one's a pretty good one right here, where you can really see, like, his right leg he doesn't swing it forward. See, like right there? That's it. Yeah. But the left leg goes way over there, right? So that means he can't do it, but he's using the backpack to block it. So how would you put it? Would you disassemble it a little bit yourself? Just because I heard there's only one screw on this that can take part of the butt off or something.
Yeah, I mean, typically rifles like that have action screws. I have to look at the Mauser's engineered, but typically you have 2 action screws that hold it to the stock. I have to look, like I said, there's being a Mauser, it might be constructed slightly different. And then, of course, you have, Mausers have been being made for a really long time. Yeah, I'd have to look at see what that is. If it's 1 screw, I mean, that makes a little more sense. Because one of the things that I did say long before I saw your video was it doesn't look like what he's carrying is a 43-inch rifle, because about the shortest version of the Mauser was around 43 inches. It looks shorter than that. And then also sometimes whatever he's carrying, to me, and it's just garbage video too, right? So we're zooming in, it's extremely pixelated. It almost looks like it's semi-rigid, like if there was 2 pieces in there. I think you're right. I think, it's just really hard to see from video footage. But, compared to the dimensions of his body, a 40-inch rifle, it's hard to imagine and immediately like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That looks like a rifle.
Yeah, but then when you see him on the roof, I guess that's kind of what we, wanted to take a look at here. So you can definitely see on some angles. I guess we'll just watch it from over here. He's coming in from the side. This is really the only part that matters. And you can already see, like, right in some of these shots, there's some kind of like a towel, and he's really struggling. But we can't see like the barrel because it's so thin, and you can barely even see his legs. Look how thin his leg is, and his leg's way thicker than the barrel. So you're not even going to be able to see it in this video. So you might only be able to see things like the butt of it a little bit at some points. I wish they would just give us the damn video instead of doing their own zooming. That stuff pisses me off. But right here, so he's setting it down, and so right at this point, the barrel actually could be sticking out. We don't know. It could be back this direction. Could be.
Looks like to me, Gray, that the butt of the gun is on the left hand end, and the barrel's toward his leg. And it looks like a shorter gun, like a smaller platform, a different type gun. That's just what it looks like to me right here. But I'll start the video back.
Any direction, we just wouldn't see it. So he steps down, and then one of the, I think, really telling shots here is right there. I mean, look at that. What do you think that is? I mean, that's got to be. So look at that. It's on there, and his left hand sort of switches over to the right, and he kind of grabs it.
Yeah.
And there it is. I mean, that right there, you can see. It's pretty big, too. I mean, that's past his head and down to his butt area. See that? The length of that? I don't know if you can make that out.
I want to stop it right there and say something, too. You can tell, like I've heard Gary and you, Gray, say that he had to have this well planned. I think that he had been there maybe a week to 2 weeks before, and checked the neighborhood out behind, walked the grounds, probably flew a drone. Just like that roof right there, he's got his left hand, he's holding on to something. He had to know there was going to be something to grip to help him down, because if it was just nothing to hold on to, if he'd have come over that edge and went all the way to the ground and fell and got hurt, he wouldn't even got his rifle off the roof. He had this well planned. He had thought this thing out. He knew exactly. That's why he was able to get from time he shot Charlie Kirk to the woods in about 2 minutes. He knew exactly where he was going to go when he come off that roof. He knew the path he was going to take and right straight to them woods. But I'm going to start the video.
Possibly even kind of passing through his, or around his knee at that point too.
Yeah, like right there. Yeah. So then he lets it down. I mean, I don't know if you want me to go through this slow. You want me to keep doing it, or?
No.
I don't care. I mean, it's like, to me, I've gone over this so many times. There's some, interesting shots where you can definitely make it out. I mean, look at that one, for God's sakes. That's his left leg, his right leg, and this whole thing there. See that? That's like the blanket, and inside of that is the rifle.
Hi, I'm a Filipina and my name is Christy. Filipinas are wonderful partners for a happy, long-term.
And then, you know, the problem we have is like we see a lot of the movement of the towel. So it's like, well, where's the rifle? He's moving around the towel, but then why would he be just playing around with the towel? You know, I mean,
Sure.
That's the reason why he had the towel to begin with. Think about it. Why did he even bring a towel? It was to hide the gun going from here to the woods, but also so that no one could ever see what type of gun he had. The gun was never seen going to the campus, up on the Losi Center. After he shot Charlie Kirk, he never lets that gun be seen. And I'm going to start the video back.
there's definitely something there.
And what's the frame rate of this video?
Yeah, and it's only like so. Right here, let's just do an example. So that's let's just go to the that's a movement right there. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's one. 5 frames a second, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that one's like 2.
Sorry about this.
So there's a tons of frames. I mean, it's really, 30 frames a second, you can make out really good detail. This is, first of all, a 360-degree camera, and I think it's recording 24/7, takes up a huge amount of data. So they just set it down to that level, and you can still, see generally pretty well, even at 5 frames a second, but it's nowhere near as clear and smooth, and I think that would probably solve a lot of the issues that people are seeing if we had a 30 frames a second video, or even like 24. 15 would even be good. This is like...
I just want to say something here too. I've heard you mention before, Gray, that when he jumps off the roof, he turns back to get his sunglasses. And you are correct, he does, but as he starts running on, you'll see that his hat, I think when he jumped, his hat was maybe crooked on his head. And as he's running, you'll see him lift his cap up, fix his hat, and then put his sunglasses back on.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Here, I'll throw up this a good comment. Kirk shot from an elevated position. Could the bullet travel from the neck to the scapula? That's a big bone. That might stop the bullet from exiting. The only issue that I have with that is basically the fact, again, the angle is not what we think it is. It's not like shooting. Think about that, folks. Like, he'd have to be up there. I don't know if you guys see this angle, right? But it's not. It's definitely more frontal than you believe, and the angle is not that steep. So the problem is, it's not like it's coming down at this huge angle. It's only 140 yards. The parabolic arc is not that severe. The angle is not that severe. So, like, if it was entering here, it wouldn't. It might be at most an inch further lower by the time
I agree with you 100%, Gary.
It got to the back of his neck. So the idea that it comes in here and then enters and then exits back here and hits a scapula, I don't see how that makes sense ballistically. So
you had another super chat above it. You had a super chat above that said to you that said what was it? That you can see from a camera angle that they have the shirt, the exit wound. Like not a wound, but an exit.
Yeah.
I don't know where that was. Does anybody have that video? Well, I don't know if you can play it. That's too hard to.
Say that again, Gray. You were breaking up, and I'm sure it's my internet. I got like a separate freaking.
Yeah, you sort of froze in the screen for a second. Yeah, I was. Let's see. You had a super chat up there for $5 at some point that said that they have video where you can see the back of his shirt and the exit. I haven't seen that yet, but that's what somebody said.
I've looked at every back of the shirt picture video that I can find, folks. And if you got that, send that to services@ParamountTactical.com. I would like to see that, because I've seen look, what we'd expect with an exit wound is that it'd be significantly larger than the entrance wound. It's going to be just as bloody. It would be significant. And if it's indeed a 30-06, I have no reason not to believe that to believe it's not. Like, we're talking about a lot of expulsion of.
Gary, that's where I disagree with you. I don't think it's a 30-06, and from where I'm from here in North Carolina, no one believes he was shot with that 30-06. I think that's why the conspiracy theories is there's so many of them, because nobody can believe he was shot with that. And I do not believe he was shot with that gun, that 30-06. I believe he was shot with maybe a 223 or a 5.56 or some other gun. I'm not really a gun person, but I do think he was shot with another gun, not that 30-06. I believe that's going to be his way he thinks he's going to get out of this. I'm going to start the video back, and I'll talk about that more later.
Biological material. So we're talking, meat, blood, bone. I don't see, like, an exit wound would be obvious. So far I haven't seen any evidence of an exit wound, which is one of the problems that I have. And I know people have talked about a hollow point or a soft hunting point. We would still, it's, again, the human neck is very small. Even if it ran into the scapula, I would think that round would exit. It is a heavy.
That would be a severe angle too, wouldn't it? A ridiculous angle.
It would be a ridiculous angle, and that's the problem. Is that a lot of people think like, oh, he was way up here, like on, some skyscraper or water tower. It is not that tall of a building, and it's far away. I mean, go get 140 yards away and then look at the 4-story window of something. Like, that angle is not that steep. And
I can show this angle right here if you want.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%, Gary. I built houses for 30-some years in all kinds of terrain. And I've been up there 40, 50 foot many a days. And I know what it's like when you're up high looking down at things. That's why I've not believed any of the theories, like shot from the building behind the bush. And the guy couldn't even had a shot at Charlie Kirk. But anyway, you're correct. It was a very slight angle, and I believe that later on I heard it calculated to be like a 9.3 degree angle. But I'm gonna start the video back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, so it's kind of like he was down there and on a stage, so he's not like right on the ground, but you just look at from way over here to down there. I mean, I would imagine that's, like you were saying, it's probably less than, like, probably 10 or degrees or so. It's not really.
Yeah, I think it's actually less than 10 degrees.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not a very steep angle at all. It would almost appear coming in straight.
I say he had a perfect shot. And he could see Charlie Kirk, his whole body, easily. I mean, he had the perfect location to have a wide open shot at Charlie Kirk.
Eric Dieter said, playing devil advocate, if the guy in the crowd had a silencer and that's all Tyler needed to do was just set one off in the air, time dilation, he wouldn't need to transport anything. If the guy in the crowd had a silencer. So first of all, and again, we talked about this. Look, for those of you, if you haven't shot a silencer, it's not that silent. Like, you're not going to pull out a gun, even with a suppressor on there, and shoot, and people around you not realize what's going on. You would have to be in some sort of hidden position, and even then it would be very questionable if you could get away with it.
And also, why would Tyler do that? Like, hey, I'm gonna go up here, tell you what, I'll just take all the blame, I'm just gonna fire a shot in the air, and then we'll have somebody else on the ground that gets the kill shot in, but it's not me. Then because they're gonna do ballistics, right? And then they'll say, see, it didn't match, so he couldn't have done. Yeah.
And Gray, you're exactly right. And I still believe that when they do the ballistics, when the autopsy comes back, which, I mean, they've already got the autopsy, but we don't know what's in the autopsy. I'm thinking that they already do know, but I believe that they're surprised. They're thinking that they were going to find a 30-06 bullet, and it's not a 30-06 bullet in it. And FBI don't even know which way to go now, because they think that Tyler Robinson had a 30-06 rifle on that roof. And now they found another bullet, and they've got to figure out what's going on. I'm gonna start the video back.
I guess that's what it will come down to, that, right?
Well, the problem is, like, I think you could make a case that there'd be people out there willing to do this, right? That, hey, look, you know what, you're going to be seen as a national hero. I don't know. There's a bunch of people out there that can be influenced into doing dumb shit. But if somebody is going to do this and they're going to blame it on Tyler, you need to be able to pull it off successfully. And so far, like a suppressed shot, from a different angle that ultimately doesn't align with Tyler's ballistic trajectory, that becomes problematic. That means, like, everybody in the FBI is involved, everybody in the sheriff's department's involved, like multiple people out in the crowd are involved. Like, you start, the medical examiner would have to be involved to, like, produce a document saying, hey, you know what, that bullet didn't come from straight ahead, it came up from off to the left or the right. Sure, I mean, I guess in some grand scheme of things, that complicated scenario could be possible, but it's so implausible that it's almost ridiculous.
Gary, you're correct, 100%. And I think Tyler shot him with a different gun, and he's made it look like, that's why there's so many theories and all. Somebody's saying that they give a signal, Tyler Robinson shot the gun, somebody else in the crowd shot, but Tyler Robinson pulled the whole thing. He shot, but with a different gun. I'm gonna start the video back.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I get a lot? You have a comment in here that says, Gray Hughes is a government employee or contractor, so can't really trust this dude. Yeah, I get that comment all the time. The people go that they think I work for the CIA.
I've seen his CIA creds. He's not.
Yeah, the checks aren't very big, but
No, look, I mean, here's the problem, folks. And I got the same thing when I was talking about different things on the Butler situation, which by the way, it really starts to that's when you start questioning people's motives or integrity without any evidence, like, there are definitely grifters out there. There's grifters out there. There's people that are trying to trick you. Like, I don't know. But with that being said, it's so ridiculous. The problem is,
that would be so boring. I'd be so boring. Thing is, what I do doesn't sell as much. Like, I just put out the factual information. A lot of people like it, but if I wanted to do that, I could sell. With my video ability and stuff like that, I could sell crazy stuff and get a million views, I bet, on a video. But I just...
And y'all are correct. Exactly right. I think a lot of people just doing it trying to make the views and make the money. But that's what I like about watching you, Gary, and you, Gray. Y'all are just honest, just trying to find out the truth, what really happened that day. You're not in it for the money, just trying to make money off this. And I agree, there's so many theories where people's just trying to make money.
Just wouldn't do that, I'd have to believe it.
And folks, go look at some of these other channels that are small channels that are pushing these conspiracy theories. They have 10 times the views that Gray and I do. It is so much more beneficial to jump on this crazy train than actually come out here and say, hey, you know what? Based on what we're seeing in evidence, this is what's real and this is what's fake. It doesn't, it's not as fun. It's not nearly as fun. You're not going to get near as many views. And then you got people accusing you of BS that, like, why? What is my motive to sit there and say, hey, you know what? So far, we only see evidence of one shooter. We don't see any evidence of a shooter from the crowd. I'm down with entertaining any of that stuff, other than the only thing that I will not entertain that is these sons of bitches out there that are talking about that Charlie Kirk faked his own death. I think that's disgusting, stupid. Like, if you believe that, I'm sorry, but anyone can convince you of anything. Like, you need to sit down and really think about, hey, I need to become a little bit more discerning and a little bit more skeptical of nonsense.
Yeah, and to be honest, like I think a long time ago when I used to do stuff, I was more susceptible to when somebody would say, "Ooh," I go, "Ooh, wow, look at that." But after a while, when you really start digging around, you realize that almost none of that stuff is true. So I always look at it from like you get the facts that are coming out, video evidence, and things like that, and then put that together. And if you still see something that's weird and unexplainable, you might talk about that, but almost always eventually there's an explanation for that too. I mean, it's just the way it seems to always be. And I think tomorrow, I bet we'll get a whole bunch more video and different information tomorrow because apparently there's like a court hearing, and I just feel like there's going to be a little bit of a dump of information. But how do we get to be TMZ and get video? Like, how in the hell did they get these videos from people? Like, what did they get a name?
They're paying. Yeah, I mean, they're paying a lot. People know that TMZ will pay them to get them on the phone. Like, hey, I got this great video. You got 20 grand? I'll send it to you. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
The Modern Conservatives voice says, "What do y'all think about the video conservative kid getting interviewed after and getting bombarded into silence by the same ones? Right group students need to be interviewed, including TPUSA and the security." I agree. I think I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what those people's motives were behind it. Maybe they were worried. I don't know. I don't think that should have happened.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what I don't really even know what that is referring to there.
So right after, there's some video floating around X primarily, where this kid was like, "Hey, I was right in the front row." He starts talking to, a YouTuber, a vlogger, or something along those lines, a civilian reporter, citizen reporter, and he starts talking about what happened, and then like he's kind of bum rushed by a bunch of probably 3 or 4 other teenagers about his age. Like, no, hey, we don't need to be talking about that. And I think the idea, what I thought was, it's stupid for trying to, you're creating a controversy that doesn't need to be created. But the other thing too, I think in their minds, maybe they were wanting to say that for law enforcement, because at the time, guys, we hadn't caught the shooter. So I can kind of understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, I think it was dumb.
Did you happen to see that other video that's done sort of up in? I think it was filmed right over. Well, you don't see my screen, but it was like right over.
Yeah,
here.
I'll throw it up there.
Yeah, there was a video right here where there's a guy filming, and if it was a right angle, if they were just right over here, you could have seen the shooter, but they were actually talking here, and then the gunshot goes off, and it doesn't sound anything like. Like the original shot sort of sounded like AR-15-ish, that little, sound or whatever. But up here, it's like, boom, like a freaking, like thunder. It's crazy. Have you ever seen that? Let me see if I can find that while we're just...
No.
One thing I noticed is that different people they interviewed, all of them had different, sound like a AR-15, sound like a firecracker. I think it depended on where you were at down in there with all the buildings around. You could have been over to the left of this screen right here, right now, and that sound wouldn't have sounded the same as it would if you'd been out in front of Charlie Kirk. But I'm going to start the video back.
Talking about it. I clipped it. Let's see. I'm just going to look through different folders really fast. Was it that one?
While you're looking that up, Derek Tyler says Patel was muted at the presser because FBI rank and file told him the suspect was in custody. They knew he would jump on X. He had to retract. Cash mad.
Yeah. I just got to look at a couple folders. I think it was like 2 days ago.
I'm gonna jump up on the video a little bit here, so it ain't taking so much time. But I'm just gonna try to get to the points and the things that I believe. Let me see if I can move up some. I'm gonna start it back right here and just see what's going on at this point.
around. But the problem with that is like we'd have to have this fluid move down, and then your rib cage is there, and then it bubbles back up in some weird way. But then you have this one piece of fabric that kind of gets flung up at a very high
I'm gonna
point.
move it up a little bit further.
Again, there's not a lot of dense tissue right here. You would expect a pretty large exit wound.
I'm gonna move on up further.
Minutes, jumped over this little wall.
Ray, real quick, go back.
Uh-huh.
There's just open access to the roof there.
Yeah. Right here.
Oh.
So you go up these. He's walking
I'm
by
backed
this
up just a
camera.
little bit. Okay, he's walking right there. At one time, with the shorts on in the morning, when he goes by the other house on around at 9:57, he comes out here at around 10:08. That's what Gray calls the dry run. I think he's going there then. Maybe he's on campus by maybe 10:20. And if they wasn't setting Charlie Kirk up at 8:30 that morning, he feels like for sure by now they've got to be putting the tent up now and getting ready, because Charlie's going to be there around 12 o'clock. So I think he's going back right now at about 10:20 on the campus, and he's checking it out. He's probably even walked over the top of where they put Charlie's tent at, looking back at the Losi Center and making sure that he's got a perfect view of it. But anyway, I'm going to start the video right here.
Right here. And then he takes a right turn. You see it on the camera. Walks across this little bridge here. Goes into this parking lot. And then this tunnel here is this image right here. That's what this is. He's going down that tunnel, and he stood at the top of the tunnel.
Right here, Gray, I don't see no sign of a gun. And when we get to the other pictures of him, I'll show you where I think the gun is. I'm gonna start the video back.
And he was using his phone for a little bit. And then he put his phone in his pocket, and that's what this is right. They said he put his phone in his front right pocket. And so that's what that is. He's going down into that tunnel there. And then we don't know, that's where we lose him. Like, we don't get to see where he went. But he comes out over here, and that's after we have this shot here, and that's also the phone right there. That's not his knee. Okay, and then this is him near the top of those steps, and then he's about to turn and go up another flight of stairs, and then this is something.
Well, back it up a little bit.
And then he's about to turn and go up another flight of stairs.
Okay, I stopped it right there because of something I want y'all to notice. Look how packed that backpack is. Now, if he has a gun down in his clothes, what else could he possibly have in that backpack? We know he has a towel, a screwdriver. If he had the Mauser 98, he would have maybe the bolt action part of the rifle in the backpack. Let's see, I said the towel, the screwdriver, the bolt action, a change of clothes, the shorts, and the maroon shirt. And why does he even have that in that bag? I'll talk about that here in a little bit. Why does he even have the shorts and the maroon shirt? I'll talk about that in a little bit, but you can tell that backpack is packed. It's loaded. It's packed. I think there's a gun in that backpack right now, a different type gun, and I'll talk about that more later.
And then this is something that's sort of interesting. Like, what's that? Like, kind of poking out the back of his leg, because
There's no way there's a barrel that far down his leg, Gray, because there's no way he could even bend that knee coming up them steps. He made a sharp bend with it. There's no way the barrel goes down there. I think that's just a crease in his pants. I'm gonna start it back.
he's still got the rifle in his right leg. They say he's limping the whole time. So at that point, it's somewhere along the way to get over to here. But then at 12:02, which is only, I think it's 9 minutes after he went in the tunnel, he goes in the door right here. And then 13 minutes after that, whatever he was doing in there, we don't know, but he goes.
Stopped it again. I think he's probably just went to the bathroom or something, just hanging out because giving Charlie Kirk time to get out. Maybe when he was walking up, he didn't hear, nothing going on with Charlie. So he said, I'm just going to kill a little bit of time here and then go up on the roof just a little bit later.
Up this set of stairs, and it's a different set of stairs because he's turning to the right, not to the left. So he goes up these stairs here, and that's at 12:15, and then he stands right over here for 2 minutes. He's probably trying to act like a normal person viewing. He's looking around. Then he quickly jumps over here, and that's at.
I'm going to stop it again right there. I believe what you said, Gray. He killed 2 minutes there. He was looking around over the rooftop, making sure there was no police guard, watching that roof. He was looking around at any other roofs he could see, seeing if they had those roofs manned, and he was just making sure everything was clear. And once he didn't see anyone, he probably give it another look down the steps and down the public walkway, back toward the other building with the camera, and then he jumped over the wall.
12:17. So he sat there for 2 minutes, jumped over this little wall.
Ray, real quick, go back.
Uh-huh.
There's just open access to the roof there.
Yeah, right here. So you go up these stairs, and everybody, this brown area, anybody can be standing on any of this brown area anywhere. That's what that is. And there's there's a wall there that's.
I'm gonna stop it again. I hate to keep stopping it so much, but when he come through the Losi Center and starts out up the steps, if there's anybody in the building, they don't pay this no mind there, because that's the way they get around here. It's nothing to see somebody go out and go up steps because the public walkways. That's just a way to get around, so nobody would be suspicious to see somebody going up steps. They see it every day, all the time. I'm gonna start the video back.
It didn't render on their 3D thing.
Sure,
but there is a wall there.
Like a couple feet tall, right?
Yeah, so you could go over either one, but in this case, he stepped over this one, and he's just kind of crouched down there for 5 minutes, and that might be where he did stuff with the rifle. And then right at.
I'm gonna stop it again. You're right, Gray. He got over in that corner, and that wall has to be at least 3 foot to 42 inches high because it's the same height as the railing going down the public walkway. That wall's pretty high. So when he gets inside that corner, he can duck down, and that camera that's seeing back over the public walkway and over the Losi Center, it cannot see him in that corner. It can see that whole roof, the public walkway, but it can't see what he's doing in that corner. And I think that's where he's pulling the magic off right there. I call him Tyler Robinson, the magic man, the magician. That's why he brought a towel and the screwdriver. I think he put the towel in his bag with the screwdriver in it, so when he pulled the towel out in that corner, the screwdriver would be left there intentionally. He wanted to leave that screwdriver there because that proves that he put a Mauser 98 30-06 bolt action rifle together. And then when they find that, they say, okay, we found his screwdriver. And then that screwdriver, there's 2 ways he used that screwdriver. He was going to say that when he went on that roof, he put that gun together. And then when he made it to the woods, he got to look in his screwdriver and he couldn't find it. He was going to take the gun apart when he got in the woods, but he couldn't find his screwdriver. He lost it somewhere between the roof and the woods. So therefore, he had no choice but to leave the gun behind. But to prove that he meant to leave that gun behind, he would have never brought shorts and the maroon shirt. He brought that for a reason. He knew he was going to leave that gun behind, but there's no way you could change into shorts. Even if he'd had the screwdriver and broke the gun down, it would be impossible to haul it out with shorts on at that time. Even if the barrel's going down the leg some, the shorts don't go all the way to the knee. You would see part of the gun. That tells me he had no intentions of taking that gun out of the woods. That screwdriver is a big part of what he pulled here. I'm gonna start the video back.
At 12:22, apparently runs over, lays down, and fires at 12:23, killing Charlie Kirk. And then he gets up really fast and he runs this direction. So he had no time to disassemble anything.
Yeah.
And then he climbs down this side of the building at 12:23, and then he runs this direction. You see him. He's fiddling around with the weapon, and then he goes across the road here, and they see him go into this wooded area, and that's where they found the rifle. And then from there, he somehow.
One thing I'd like to say, he picked the perfect location because he picked the Losi Center, which is close to the road, a quick getaway to get in the woods, while everybody else is down in the valley with Charlie Kirk. It would take them minutes to get back up, coming back uphill to get back up to the Losi Center. So he knew he would be way ahead of everybody. He well thought this out and planned it very well. I'm gonna start the video.
Makes it so if you're just looking at it like that, he makes his way back over here again, and he runs right there. And apparently that's at 12:29. I mean, isn't that just crazy? Like 12:22, 7 minutes later, he's almost all the way back, way over here near a car. I mean, I don't know where he parked, but I have a feeling like he parked two different places during that day. Like one time way up in here and down here. But what I just showed you is really.
I'm gonna stop it again right here. I'm gonna put my mouse on the locate. Okay, here's the video at 8:23 in the morning, right along here with his car, and at 9:57 he's walking. And later on in another video, Gray, I see that you believe that he parked right around where my mouse is here. When you call the dry run he's doing, and then later on he comes down this road, and you believe that he parks right here, so that when he leaves, he's closer to his car. And I'm gonna start the video back.
Just kind of a simple timeline. It's crazy. Like once he made it, he said, "Okay, I'm doing it now." At 12:48, he starts walking, and he's already off the roof at 11:48 he starts walking, and then at 12:24 he's already off the other end of the roof running. I mean, it's wild. But the part that's really creepy is how quickly the moment of the attack that we were talking about earlier, that he literally from 12:22 he goes from here, shoots and kills, and at 12:23 he's already climbing off this end of the roof. Like literally like a minute total from running, lays down, fires, and then runs over there. I mean, so there you go. That's it. I mean, it's kind of a simple, situation where you can just explain it.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, I think right there in that corner, he put that gun together. We know he put it together there. And I think, like I said, he shot him with a different gun. And this would also make all the big game hunters happy, because they're all saying there's no way he was shot with a 30-06. It would have went slammed through his neck, no problem. It goes through big game. So if it comes out later on that the bullet was not a 30-06, all the big game hunters and all going to say, I knew the whole time it wasn't a 30-06. There's no way his neck stopped that. And they'll be right. I believe that it's going to be a different caliber bullet that they get out of Charlie Kirk, or they did get out of Charlie Kirk.
No, I mean that makes, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, but it's just kind of like, wow. I mean, it's sort of like we don't know what he was doing inside the building, walking around, those kind of things. But they have him on camera coming out and then jumping over that little wall. And then he's still limping, by the way. They say when he gets to the top of the stairs and he's moving around, he's still limping. And it's only at...
He has to keep limping, Gray, to make it look like he is carrying a gun. He may be carrying something right there, just like I said, to affect his walk. Because he can't be clumsy and start walking straight somewhere. He has to keep that limp the whole time. Tyler he pulled this off. I mean, he done his homework.
After like when he's right over here, he's still limping, he's limping, and it's only after he stood up from here and ran that his limping stopped. And he started running because he take the gun out of his pants at that point, right? So it's all in the probable cause. If you marry that up with the known video and data, it's like, oh, yeah, okay. Everything makes a lot of sense.
No, I mean, I think that's because that's where some of these like conspiracy theories and things like that originate. I've seen it mentioned several times, like, well, how did he get, there had to be some sort of security card access to the roof, all these things. And now we see that there's not. What I do find interesting, and it's one of these 2020 after the fact type of things, is
I agree with you, Gary. It was too easy to get on that roof. They should have had that roof manned. One man up there would have saved Charlie Kirk's life. I'm going to start the video back.
See portion of the video that you played earlier where the cops had the immediate elevated portions roped off. It's crazy to me that they hadn't roped off the stairs or had anybody posted up there where you could clearly get access to the roof just by walking up a set of stairs and then stepping over what looks like a 2 or 3 foot wall.
I think he went there. I think he had to have gone there on another occasion. But like this morning, I don't think he could have done.
That wall had to be at least 3 foot. I'm going to say it was probably 3.5 foot, 42 inches, because in residential, your railing has to be 36 inches. In commercial, most of the time it's like 42, and that railing is the same height, basically, as that wall. So that give him plenty of room, plenty of height, that wall, to get down and hide behind to where the camera can never pick him up.
Enough scouting to get it down that well that day. I think that day he was there sort of verifying, making sure everything's still in position. What do you think about that? Just
I mean, it's classic pre-attack surveillance, right? So, I mean, I think you're right. I think there was definitely some planning involved here.
That was major planning. He had it laid out well. When he come that day, he knew exactly what he had to do that day. All he done was to come, hide the gun, and make it look like that it was that gun. But anyway, like y'all said, he had it very well planned.
Real quick, a couple of questions. Josh B., do you think it's possible the bullet clipped the tent frame and keyholed into him? Could be why there's no pass-through and huge entry. I think it's unlikely, especially on that video. Well, here, I still have it here. Like,
does keyhole mean? Does that mean like it's rotating the bullet? Keyhole.
It is. So it's basically hitting the target broadside, right? So it looks like a keyhole as opposed to just a bullet hole.
Okay.
So I don't even think it would necessarily even be keyholing at that point. Again, we have with 30-06, you're looking around 140 grain up to 220 grain, traveling 2,500 to almost 3,000 feet per second. It's gyroscopically stabilized. If it hit that super soft aluminum tent structure, if it hit one of the struts in that, and in that distance, we're talking about 10, 15 feet before it would hit him. I doubt it would even keyhole, and I don't even know that it would deform its trajectory hitting one of those soft pieces of aluminum. It could. It's not crazy. I think it's a decent theory. That is possible. But again, what it doesn't explain is the shirt movement, his body movement. If anybody...
I'm going to move it up. I'm going to move this video up just a little bit.
looked at that footage, especially from the.
Oh, that's where he got shot in the neck, and one of those.
Screen.
If you want to play like this, you do not need to be doing this.
And by the way, you got freaks out there, go subscribe over there to Gary over at Paramount Tactical. He's go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if you guys haven't liked it and liked the videos, subscribed, all those stuff, throw some comments down. Make sure you do that. Thunder Cheeks, I like that name. I sent a video on Instagram to Gary. Can you please prove me wrong? I'll check it out. I'm not here to prove it.
I'm like Thunder Cheeks. I'm gonna say that what I'm thinking is what happened, and I'm like Charlie Kirk, prove me wrong. But I could be wrong. If he took that 30-06 bolt action rifle up, going up on that campus with nothing but a cap and sunglasses, to be a straight A student and as smart as he was and as well planned out as he did this, he would have had to been a fool to go up on that roof with that gun and shoot Charlie Kirk and then go out in the woods and leave that gun behind. I mean, he would basically be signing his own death sentence. I mean, they would have every bit of the evidence they needed. There's no way that I think that Tyler Robinson was that crazy. And I do think he left that gun, like I said, in the woods on purpose to make it look like that was the gun that he used to do the job. And at the same time, when it all comes out at trial, when they find out that it's a different bullet and that it did not come from Tyler Robinson's gun, then they're going to be like, well, what gun did it come from? Tyler Robinson didn't shoot Charlie Kirk. There was another shooter out there somewhere. And I think what Tyler Robinson's going to say, he's going to say, I run over to the roof, laid down, I had shells. I didn't look good. I put an empty cartridge in the gun. I took aim. I squeezed the trigger, and the gun did not go off. And I thought, how stupid. And about the time I started to reach to get for the bolt action, to eject the empty shell to put a live round in it, I heard another gun go off. And it sounded like it was close to me. But I did not shoot Charlie Kirk. When I heard the gun go off, I jumped up and run. I think that's what he's going to say when it goes to trial, that he did not kill Charlie Kirk. And they're going to say, this bullet didn't come from Tyler Robinson's gun. So maybe he's telling the truth. I think it's going to go down just like another JFK case where Lee Harvey Oswald, he never took a shot. And it's going to be that way with Tyler Robinson. He did not shoot. And then everybody's going to be saying, free Tyler Robinson. The bullet did not come from his gun. And everybody's going to be saying, free him. And no matter how it goes, when it goes to trial, it's going to be a big mess because people believe that our government is corrupt from all the past. And they're going to think they're corrupt with this. So it doesn't matter how it goes. There's going to wind up being a big mess. And we'll just see if I'm right. But I believe that's the way it's going to go. I do not believe it was the 30-06 he shot him with. That was just a gun that was going to help get him out of it because he knew that he was going to get caught. But at the end, they're going to say, well, where is the gun that shot Charlie Kirk? And they're going to say, maybe he put a different gun together. And all he's going to say is, no, all I had was the 30-06. And he's left everything back, like the screwdriver and everything, to make it look like it. And I bet you he took that 30-06 apart maybe the day before so that he could show the screws had been tampered with and everything to make it look just like he had took it apart and reassembled it on that roof. And he left that screwdriver, like I said, he left it there on purpose. so that when he got to the woods, he could say, I had no choice but to leave the gun behind. I'm going to start the video back.
It's weird. Whenever they say Gary, I think they're to me. Even though my name's Gray, but everybody calls me Gary anyways.
That's fair.
No, but you called me Gary. Remember on the first show that we did?
No,
And
I was
then
no, I didn't call you Gary. I called you Hughes. 'Cause I thought your first name was Hugh.
Something like that. Yeah, but it was cool. You gave me that shout out the other day where you called me. You said Gray because he called me Gary, I think, or somebody.
Yes, he did. He did call you Gary. I'm looking at my IG chats. I'll have to go through. I got a bunch of.
One more thing I just thought about, and I think I said it earlier, but one thing Tyler Robinson didn't do, he never was clumsy. He never let the gun be seen going up on the Deloche Center across the campus, and he made sure that gun was never seen. He done so good that a lot of people say he didn't even have a gun on that roof. But I agree with you, Gary and Gray. You can tell he had a gun, but the thing of it is you can't tell what kind of gun. He never let that gun be exposed. And that's why I call him Tyler Robinson, the magician. That's why he took the towel to begin with, to pull the magic trick off. It all started in the corner of that roof where he knew he couldn't be seen. And he pulled it off using a towel, a screwdriver, and a different gun. I'm going to start the video back.
I gotta go and approve. I'll check that out. Thunder Cheeks.
So what do you want to talk about just for? I don't know if you have much more time. But like the
No, I got
the new videos.
I thought we said we were doing a 12-hour marathon.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if you look at
real quick, let me just
Yeah.
hit this since I have it up. Channing
Oh, yeah.
to Jay-Z says there's a guy in the orange shirt after the shot was fired, running with a pistol. As the shot was fired, was running with a pistol. Yeah. So I did see that guy. I think that guy. Look, that campus you can conceal carry on. I'm sure there's hundreds of guns in that crowd. I think that guy stupidly pulled out a gun without first identifying a target. And I think that's a bad practice. But yes, there is video of that guy doing that. I'm sure that guy has been, well, it's likely that he's been questioned. Other than that, I don't see any evidence that he was involved in any other way, but I understand where you're coming from. Let me put this back up.
Yeah. So it's really interesting timelines out there. I mean, Candace Owens said that this video down here was 8:29 or something, where the one where he's wearing the shorts, or not 8:29. I can't remember what time she said. I don't even know where she got her time. In this video here, we have the vehicle driving by at 8:23, and they say that in the probable cause document that like at 8:29 or so, the vehicle is showing up on campus, and they see him get out because they see his shorts and everything. So he's walking around, and so it makes me wonder.
I think Ray, he's going there then to see if they're setting Charlie Kirk up. He's just going to go look first thing that morning. Go out and take a look to see if they're setting him up. And if not, by 10:30 when he goes 10:20 or so when he goes back, for sure he sees then. But yeah, at 8:23, like you said, he goes by that house, and then at 8:30 he's on the UVU campus. And then at 9:57, he's walking again. And he has no reason to be walking down that road at all. Because when he goes to shoot Charlie Kirk, he doesn't even take that path. He comes down 800 south and comes down and turns on 800 west and goes down to the two houses with the TMZ cameras or whatever. And he never even goes this way. So why was he going that way so much in the morning time? Like I said, I still believe that he was going on that road just to see was everything quiet and nobody had caught on to he had stashed a gun in those woods. He was checking the surroundings out and making sure everything was good. And then after he come back off that campus, maybe around 11:15, he goes back to his car, and I think he has two backpacks. I think he has two of them. The blue one is his dry run walk. He probably has some snacks and something to drink, and he may even have a book in it. And that's just as he walks around checking everything and going back and forth to the campus. But then when he comes back to the car, I think that's when he gets the black backpack out that's already pre-packed with the gun in it. All he has to do is change clothes and put his shorts and maroon shirt in there, and he's ready to go. And when he comes running back out of the wood area, back out to 800 West, when he comes out there, he's still in a hurry at that point. He shouldn't even be in a hurry at that point. He looks just like any other college student. There's no need for him to be in a hurry. He could just walk and take his time now. He looks like everybody else, but he's still in a hurry for the reason, I think, is because he has a gun on him. He has the gun that he shot Charlie Kirk with in that backpack, and he needs to get onto his car so that he can get out of the area and go somewhere and get rid of that gun. I'm going to start the video back.
So he drives by here. We don't know if he went. I don't think he went down this cul-de-sac here. He could have, though. But he probably drove over and parked somewhere and then walked over to the university. But they saw his car. So did he drive up here and then park in there and then go inside one of these buildings over here, walk around? And
I think Gray, he probably come right back and pulled right in the parking lot at the Losi Center, is what I think. He wasn't worried about being seen because he knew he was going to be seen to start with. He knew there was no way that he was going to get out of this, that people were going to see him. But he knew that was the only way that he would be able to approach and get the job done. But he knew at the end, like I said, he was going to have an out. And they can never put it on him, is what I think.
then later at 9:58, we see him walking like this. So you would think that would mean that he parked up there, but somewhere, and then he's walking. But that's an hour and 30 minutes after his car drove by, and we know that he was on campus at 8:30. So why is he walking down a street over here at 9:58? He's actually,
because he's going back. He's going back one more time, one more final time, to walk down to check the area out that's in line with his gun, to make sure that nobody is caught on to. He's taking one more final run to make sure nobody's caught on that he's put a gun there. Everything's quiet and still. No cops, nobody else. He's making one more final run, and he's going back to the campus to make sure Charlie Kirk's tent is set up and where it's at, to make sure that it's in line with the Losi Center and that he's going to have a shot. And when he does go back at 11:49, when he goes and cuts off and goes on the grass and goes over the little bridge and comes up on the campus, well, at the tunnel at 11, I believe it was 11:52. And then he works his way on to the Losi Center around 12:02. When he starts up on the Losi Center, he was probably thinking, when I go up the steps, if I see, that's why he killed 2 minutes on the walkway, making sure there was nobody on that Losi Center or no other rooftops that he could see. He was making sure the coast was clear. And if he had seen somebody on one of those roofs, he would have just took a right and went down the public walkway and walked over to the building with the camera. And then he would have just called it off. He couldn't have done it. And then later on, sometime that day, he would have went back in those woods and just got his 30-06 up, and he just wouldn't have pulled it off that day. But when he seen there was nobody manning no roofs, he made his move.
going like this. He's not too far from that wooded area at that point. He obviously hasn't thrown anything in there yet, but maybe or already had that planned out. And so I would think he may have walked down like this. And then I think that might be when we see him on this camera here, walking by.
You're exactly right, Gray. He walked by at 9:57. That gives him 11 minutes to walk around and be right there where you're saying. I agree.
Right, but that time, but I mean, is he going back to the building again? It gets really confusing because see, you have this one right here. Let's see. Yeah, this one. So you got the basketball hoop shot, and this one. Yeah, that's the same one with the basketball hoop. So there he is walking. See that?
Yeah.
And so he's walking there, but it's crazy. I don't know what time this one is.
Notice something else. He has the blue backpack on. You can tell there's hardly nothing in this backpack. Like I said earlier, he probably has a few snacks, maybe a book while he's killing time out there looking around or something. Acts like a college kid, put his little book out. He's just going there and making sure everything at this time right here is set up and everything's in place and going to be just like he wants it. When he leaves this time, he's going back to the car to get the black backpack that's already, everything's in there ready to go. Only thing he needs to do is change clothes and put the shorts and the maroon shirt in there and then throw that backpack on. And now he's ready to go back. He has everything he needs, gun, towel, screwdriver. He has everything he needs to pull the job off.
This other person said it was like 9 something or 8 something in the morning. But then why is he walking? It's just really, I need more video. It's really frustrating though.
What I will say, compared to the Butler, Pennsylvania situation, is I do think we have more cohesive information much faster than we did from Butler, Pennsylvania, for better or for worse. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think it's great because, that's what Kash Patel and all of them said that they were going to be doing, and boom, it seems like we're getting a lot of stuff. I wish they would be the ones putting out the surveillance footage. I don't really understand why we can't see all of the surveillance footage inside the building and any footage that they have outside. I would love if they just put a presentation together and showed us the entire movement.
I'm going to stop it there again. Gary, I heard you in another video with Blake. Like you said in that video, they're not going to show it all. They're showing no more than they have to. They only showed a few pictures and him just running across the roof and making it to the road, and that's where they cut the video off at. They don't want to show no more than they have to. But that was a plenty for his mother to see and his father. So that's why I say he had to know he was going to get caught. And what a fool he would have been to took the gun up on that roof and shot Charlie Kirk to 30-06 and left it right across the road from the campus, knowing that the surveillance is going to see him go right across the road in those woods. He had to come back when he come off the Losa Center after he shot Charlie Kirk. He had to go back to those woods for the simple reason he had to go back to that 30-06, take the towel off the gun that he shot Charlie Kirk with, wrap the 30-06 up with that towel, and then he had a smaller platform type gun that he could break apart, put it in his backpack that would fit in his backpack, and then change clothes, and he bolted. He run. And he was out of there. That's the only reason he had it already planned, like Gray said earlier. He come off the Losa Center in like 2 minutes and made it to the wood line. He done had it planned he had to go to those woods. That's where the 30-06 was. He had to go back to that and then, like I said, cover the 30-06 up with the towel that he just used. He took the gun, broke it down, put it in his backpack, changed his clothes. There's proof right there that he was never going to take that 30-06 with him. He could not take that 30-06. Even if he broke it down, he couldn't take it out with him with shorts on. So that tells you right there that he had this planned, he never meant to take that gun, that 30-06, with him. That was just staged to make it look like that's what he had that day. And at the end, to make it look like somebody else killed Charlie Kirk, not him. I'm going to start the video back.
I mean, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to play devil's advocate, number one, first of all, folks, you know, I'm super disappointed in the speed at which, and not just on this, but a lot of things when it comes to the Trump administration. I was expecting a lot more action on many different topics, including the Epstein files, J6, all those things. So
I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right here, but Gary and Gray, I would like to get y'all this video that I've made. Like I said, I don't know how it's going to come out. It's the first time I've ever in my life videoed anything. I've never done nothing like this before. And but I would like to get it to you and let you see what I think, and to answer some of y'all's questions, like, for instance, why is he over in this area? Just don't add up what he's... I hope that I made everything add up, and I could be wrong. He could have possibly went on that roof and shot Charlie Kirk with that bolt action rifle. He could have done that, but he would have to be the biggest fool, like I said earlier, there's ever been, knowing that he cannot hide his face going across the campus at all times. He's going to be seen, and somebody's going to pick him out. He would have to be a fool to take that gun up and shoot Charlie Kirk with it and leave it right across the road. I mean, like I said earlier, he would be signed his death sentence right there. There's no doubt he would get the death sentence. Tyler Robinson was no fool. That's why I call him the Magic Man. That's why he had the towel that day and the screwdriver. He staged it all up to make it look like he took that gun on that roof, and he took that towel to make sure the gun was never seen. I may be wrong. He may have shot him with that, but I just don't believe he took and shot him with that gun. We'll find out. But anyway, I'm going to try to get this video to you, Gary, and I'd like to get it to you also, Gray. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off, and I'll see if I can get it to y'all. Appreciate you watching it. Thank you.